Alright, welcome back y'all. Let's quickly recap what happened last episode. We helped a kinky old man find his toys, got our cheeks clapped underneath the Varrock palaces, and stopped some 4chan power users from summoning a demon. We now sit at 9 out of 24 free-to-play quests completed, and I was looking through the quest list today and realized that 2 of the quests here, Doric's quest and the Knight's Sword, require mining. I figured I'd get the required mining levels today and knock those 2 out of the way. And while we're doing that, I guess we could also get some of the smithing levels out of the way too. So I think what I want to do as far as the plan for mining goes is get it to about 20 mining, since we need about 15 to complete both quests. And then any ore that we mine, I think I want to smith into bars and make some equipment for combat reasons, and also just to get my smithing levels up and out of the way. So there are a ton of mining sites across the free-to-play map, and unfortunately I don't actually remember which ores these guys contain. The only thing I do remember is that coal is right here. Oh wait, looks like you can kind of tell by the colors. Okay, so I think what I want to do is check this site out first, and if there's copper ore here, then that's great because it's reasonably close to a bank. So let's go ahead and try that out. Alright, so there are some tin rocks here. I don't see any copper rocks, unfortunately. I guess we're just gonna mine these for a while. I don't know how many of these we'll actually need, but I kind of like nice round numbers, so let's just go with 200. Alright, I'm back and I have just mined about 200 copper ores and 200 tin ores. I turned them all into bronze bars, and then I turned those bronze bars into these bronze items you see here, which I'm now going to be selling to the Varrock general store to hopefully get a cash stack. I didn't film the process of getting the ores or the bars, but basically here's what I did. I got the tin ores from this mine southwest of Varrock. I got the copper ores from this mine southeast of Varrock, and turns out that you can actually take a look at the map and tell which ores are at which places. So I know, for example, that this is tin, that's copper, and I think that's iron, and I think that's tin, clay, and iron, and I think that's silver. So it looks like they've color coded the rocks, which is pretty convenient. I also know now that there are some pretty decent rocks in the Alcarid mine, so we'll probably be visiting there later. Afterwards, I searched for the closest furnace to a bank, and the one that I found was right here north of this Alcarid bank, and so I smith the bronze bars there, and then I turned them all into the bronze items at the closest anvil that I could find to a bank, which was this Varrock West Bank anvil right here. So yeah, let's see how much cash we get for selling all of these at the general store. Hopefully it's a decent amount. Oh, and obviously the most important part of this entire process, check us out now, dude. We are looking fantastic. We got the Mithril sword going with the full bronze. I didn't smith a bronze full helm because I just feel like the bronze medium helm looks cooler. So yeah, we kept it at the bronze medium helm. I know it's like technically worse statistically, but I just love the medium helm look. I'm sorry. Anyways, let's see how much cash we can get for all of our hard work. So we got 1k, which is not a bad cash stack at all. Now, I'm pretty sure I could have just hopped worlds and gotten more money by selling items that way, because the more of an item a store has in stock, the less whatever you sell to it is worth. But it's okay, you know, 1k is still a pretty decent amount, and I also don't feel like giving myself carpal tunnel by world hopping, so there's that too. Anyways, with all of that being done, I think it's time for us to go ahead and get started on Doric's quest. I did bring an entire hardware store as usual, just because, you know, it's Runescape. So hopefully we won't have to backtrack to the bank and get a bunch of random items and stuff. I also noticed that these guys here, these dwarves, are carrying what appear to be steel pickaxes. So I actually think before I get started on Doric's quest, I'm gonna kill these guys for maybe a couple minutes and see if I can get a steel pickaxe from these dudes. Alright, so it doesn't look like they really gave us much, except for this junk here. We did get an iron bar, that's kind of nice, but no steel pickaxe, unfortunately. My HP was also getting pretty low, so yeah, I decided to just call it and get started on Doric's quest. I also can't find a way to disable this red highlight thing for agility shortcuts. Super annoying. Like, I really want to get rid of it. Okay, so I was looking through the settings to find a way to disable these annoying red highlight things, and I couldn't find anything at all. But what I did notice is that there is a setting called the Quetzal whistle default to Hunter Guild, and it says, when enabled, left clicking the whistle will teleport you to the Hunter Guild. So I looked at the world map and I typed in Hunter Guild, and I saw that there was a place called hunter guild inside the kingdom of Varlamore, and next to it is a place called Transportation. So I assume there's some item called the Quetzal Whistle that lets you teleport to this exact spot. But okay, not just that though. I noticed that there are a bunch of other places called Transportation, and wait, this one's called Fairy Ring. Anyways, there are a bunch of places called Transportation with these like arrow marks, so I assume that the Hunter Whistle, or the Quetzal Whistle I mean, probably lets you teleport to all of these different locations. And now that I'm thinking about it, there's probably also an item called a Fairy Ring that also lets you teleport to a couple of places, because it has the same transportation arrow, and it looks like a Fairy Ring teleports you to the middle of the Avium Savannah. So I'm guessing that's going to be pretty useful later on, unlocking the Quetzal Whistle and the Fairy Ring. Not sure how to actually go about doing that, but definitely something to keep in mind for later. I really wish there was a way to turn this off. I feel like those things should be off by default, like they're so immersion breaking. Sorry about all the complaining, let's just talk to Doric. Hello, traveler, what brings you to my humble smithy? What do you make here? I make pickaxes. I am the best maker of pickaxes in the whole of Gielinor. Do you have any to sell? Sorry, but I've got a running order with Nermoth. Who's Nermoth? Nermoth has a store over in the Dwarven Mine. You can find the entrance on the side of Ice Mountain to the east of here. Oh, that's perfect, now we know where to buy pickaxes. Doesn't look like I've started the quest yet though, so, okay, let's talk to him again. Hello, traveler. Maybe let's select option 1. I wanted to use your anvil. My anvils get enough work with my own use. I make pickaxes, and it takes a lot of hard work. If you could get me some more materials, then I could let you use them. Start Doric's quest? Yeah, sure, why not? Yes, I will get you the materials. Clay is what I use more than anything to make casts. Could you get me 6 clay, 4 copper ore, and 2 iron ore, please? I could pay a little, and let you use my anvils. Take this pickaxe with you, just in case you need it. Certainly, I'll be right back. Okay, that's perfect. We already have clay from our mining adventures earlier. We also have a bunch of leftover copper ore, because I mined more copper ore than tin ore. The only thing left to get is iron ore. Pretty sure I saw iron ore in this mining site in Varrock. Yeah, I think this color is iron ore, so that shouldn't be too bad. But I think first what I want to do is actually check out that mining shop in the Dwarven Mine that this guy mentioned. I think he mentioned we should be looking for a guy called Nermoth, so let's try to find Nermoth and see if we can get ourselves a pickaxe upgrade. Okay, so I haven't found Nermoth yet, but I did find this guy called Drogo Dwarf, and check this out. He actually sells iron ore, so I'm just gonna buy it from him so I don't have to run around. Ironmen may not buy items that are overstocked in a shop. God damn it. Okay, never mind. I guess I have to find iron ore myself. Oh, there's some right there. Okay, perfect. Problem solved. Ooh, it looks like there's some sort of transportation here. Let's see where this goes. Become a member. Okay. Alright, I'm getting there, Jagex, don't worry. Okay, so it looks like this guy sells pickaxes all the way up to Rune, which is fantastic. Oh god, it costs 32,000 coins. That is, wow, that is a lot. Okay, I think maybe we just save up for the adamant pickaxe and buy that for now. Kinda don't want to walk all the way back to Varrock, and I also want to explore this Dwarven Mine place a little bit. So I think what I'm actually going to do is try to see if I can find any clay or copper rocks here. And I just found clay, so, I mean, oh, and copper's right there. So this is a really short quest then. You can basically do the entire thing like within the immediate vicinity of where the quest starts. It's perfect. Honestly, this seems like a pretty killer mining spot in terms of rock variety. I guess no one comes here though because there aren't any banks nearby, right? Wait, there's a bank right here. I guess you need to pass through the mining guild, which I assume means that you need like some really crazy high mining numbers to get into first. Also, it looks like there's another area that's kind of cordoned off that you can access once you get inside the mining guild. It looks pretty interesting, so I'm gonna definitely check that out once I get the mining level needed for the mining guild. Alright, so I want to find out what level you actually need in order to access the mining guild, and by extension a bank near an ore spot. But in order to do that, I have to get past these scorpions here. I'm out of run energy, so I'm just gonna wait here a little bit and then try to make a dash for it. Alright, that's not so bad. Welcome to the mining guild. Can I help you with anything? Can I just walk through here? Sorry, but you're not experienced enough to go in there. You need a mining level of 60? Dude, that's so high. Oh my gosh, man. 60 mining just to access the mining guild? That is... I don't think I ever got any stat to 60 when I played this game as a kid. Whatever, I guess it's something I can work on while I edit these videos. At least I got Doric's quest basically done. Also, check this out. There's a cool little room here, and there's a door guarding it, and and it says it's a magic door. Looks like I have to put some objects in order to enter this room, but there's like a cool looking treasure chest inside, and yeah, like the examine option says, I do wonder what is inside that chest. Maybe there are some clues around here that will tell us how to actually get inside that room. For now though, let's just finish Doric's quest. Oh, and in case I forgot to show earlier, I now have 24 mining and 18 smithing from making all of those bronze items earlier. So we're approaching total level 200, which is a ton of progress because I don't think I've actually been playing too much. People say that the game is like really grindy, but so far it's been pretty chill. Like even some of the more monotonous tasks like mine 200 copper ore, it's not so bad because I can edit my videos at the same time. So I do think what I've read online about this game is pretty accurate. Like it's a really nice second monitor game that you can actively play whenever you want to do quests or I guess like combat related stuff. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk to Doric again. Have you got my materials yet, traveler? I have everything you need. Many thanks. Pass them here, please. I can spare you some coins for your trouble. And please, use my anvils anytime you want. You hand the clay, copper, and iron ore to Doric. Okay, sick. We got one quest point, 1300 mining XP, that's huge, and 180 coins. We can use Doric's anvils now as well. Don't know if that's going to be particularly useful because I don't see any banks in the area, but the mining XP is definitely nice. Alright, so with that out of the way, we can go ahead and get started on the Knight Sword. It says we can start this by talking to the squire in the courtyard of the White Knight's castle. Look at this girl disrupting the peace. I'm guessing this is what the guard was talking about a couple of episodes ago. There's the squire. Hello, I am the squire to Sir Vivin. And how is life as a squire? Well, Sir Vivin is a good guy to work for. However, I'm in a spot of trouble today. I've gone and lost Sir Vivin's sword. Do you know where you've lost it? Well, now, if I knew that, it wouldn't be lost now, would it? Well, do you know what vague area you lost it in? No, I was carrying it for him all the way from where he had it stored in Lumbridge. It must have slipped from my pack during the trip. And you know what people are like these days. Someone will have picked it up and kept it for themselves. I think I'm supposed to just pick option 1 here. I can make you a new sword if you'd like. Thanks for the offer. I'd be surprised if you could though. The thing is, this sword is the family heirloom. It has been passed down through Vivin's family for 5 generations. It was originally made by the Imkando dwarves, who were a particularly skilled tribe of dwarven smiths. I doubt anybody can make it in the style they do. So would these dwarves make another one? I'm not 100% sure the Imkando dwarves even exist anymore. I should think that Reldo, the palace librarian in Varrock, will know. He's done a lot of research on the races of Gielinor. I don't suppose you could try and track down the Imkando dwarves for me. I've got so much work to do. Start the Knight Sword quest? Yeah, I think so. Okay, I'll give it a go. Thank you so much. As I say, the best place to start should be with Reldo. Alright, so on my way back to Reldo, I noticed this guy called Chekel, and he's just like kind of standing here menacingly flexing. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk to him and see if he has anything interesting to say. Chekel stares at you intensely. You better not be trying to start any beef, bro. Wouldn't dream of it. Okay, that wasn't very interesting. I also noticed that there's like this little hole in the ground here. I don't remember this being in the game when I was a kid. I'm not gonna investigate it right now because I want to stay on task, but eventually I think I want to come back here and see what this is all about. So I'm pretty sure I know where Reldo is because the quest log mentions that he's in the library in the Varrock Palace, and I'm pretty sure I saw the library when I was doing Demon Slayer. Okay, yeah, he's right there. Hello, stranger. Hello there. The name is Tofpild. Who are you? My name is Reldo. I'm the palace librarian. Ah, that explains why you're in the library then. Well, truth be told, I'd probably be here even if it wasn't where I worked. I'm a nerd. Not to mention I love talking to people about shit that they don't know. Sounds like a very noble goal. What do you know about Imkando dwarves? The Imkando dwarves, you say? Let's see. Ah, yes. For many hundreds of years, they were the world's most skilled smiths. They used secret smithing knowledge passed down from generation to generation. Unfortunately, about a century ago, the once thriving group was wiped out during the barbarian invasions of the time. Surely not those barbarians that are still in Barbarian Village, right? I believe a few of them survived, but with the bulk of their population destroyed, their numbers dwindled even further. If any are left now, they no doubt keep to themselves. However, I have heard tales of their love for red berry pie. Ah, okay, so this is the quest that involves red berries that I forgot about. Though I guess red berries were also involved skilled in goblin diplomacy. Perhaps one of those could convince one to reveal their true heritage. So I just go around offering random dwarves red berry pie? Well, not totally random. Apparently, some of the surviving in Camdo made a home for themselves near the cliffs of the Asgardian Southern Peninsula. That would be a good place to start. Okay, so Southern Peninsula of Asgardia? Well, this is Asgardia. We gotta look for a peninsula somewhere. There's one here, but it seems a bit too north. There's another one here. It seems too west. Okay. I mean, surely this is it, right? Mud Skipper Point. Looks like there's transportation here too, so maybe there's a shortcut. Wait, it says Fairy Ring. I'm pretty sure that's what we saw earlier in Varlamore when we were investigating the Quetzal whistles. Okay, so we know there's at least 2 places that you can teleport to using the Fairy Ring. I wonder where you would actually get a Fairy Ring though. I don't think I've seen any fairies in this game, like ever, so I wonder what other places you can travel to with the ring. So it doesn't look like typing in Fairy Ring tells us anything. So I guess if we discover Fairy Ring travel locations, it'll have to be pretty organic, just like the 2 that we've just found. Anyways, let's head over to Mud Skipper Point. Oh wait, but I actually need a red berry pie first. Well, I saw a pie dish earlier, so I'm gonna get that for sure, because that's obviously needed to make the red berry pie. So check this out. I see 2 people doing the patented old 2005 strategy of picking cadaver berries and then flipping them at the Varrock West Bank. Glad to see that my business strategy is alive and well. Oh geez, just freaking wizards, man. Okay, so it doesn't seem like you can just use the red berries on the pie dish to make red berry pie, so I'm guessing we need some bread dough. Luckily, I remember how to do that because of Tutorial Island. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get some wheat and do that. I wonder if there's an easy way to get pots of flour in this game, because this seems really tedious. Like, I could get 14 pots or something and 14 pieces of wheat, but just the whole grinding / milling process makes the whole thing seem like it would take really long to do, especially because I haven't seen any of these actually close to a bank. Okay, it looks like there are 3 different options: bread, pastry, and pizza. I'm gonna click on pastry. I really hope that's the right one. Okay, use pastry dough on pie dish. Okay, that works. Use red berries on pie shell. Okay, that works. Now we just gotta find like a stove or something to cook this in. I know there's one all the way in Lumbridge, but I'd really like to not go that far. Okay, it looks like there's one in White Knight's Castle. It's about the same distance to Lumbridge. Oh wait, no, there's one in Rimington, so I guess we can go there instead. Oh dude, I just had a thought. What if I burn this? Man, I should have made more than one. I guess we just pray to Saradomin that it doesn't burn. Alright, so I'm in Rimington and I noticed this purple glowy portal thing. Pretty sure that's for player-owned housing, and I think you have to actually be a member to... Yeah, okay, you have to be a member to actually do that. At least it's something to keep in mind later. Like, this is a nice place to enter your player-owned home. This kind of looks like a stove. Let's see if that works. Oh, wow, okay. That totally worked. Okay, cool. Thank Guthix we didn't burn it. That would have been so unfortunate. Okay, so I'm guessing this little chunky fella is the Incamdo dwarf. Let's go ahead and talk to him. Are you an Incamdo dwarf? I need a special sword. I don't talk about that sort of thing anymore. I'm getting old. Well, would you like a red berry pie? You see, Thurgo's eyes light up. I never say no to a red berry pie. We Incamdo dwarves love them. They're great. You hand over the pie. Thurgo eats the pie. Thurgo pats his stomach. A man after my own heart. By Guthix, that was good pie. Anyone who makes pie like that has got to be alright. Yeah, sound logic, can't argue with that. Alright, can you make a special sword for me? Well, after bringing me my favorite food, I guess I should give it a go. What kind of sword is it? I need you to make a sword for one of Falador's knights. He had one which was passed down through 5 generations, but his dumbass squire lost it. So we need an identical one to replace it. A knight's sword, eh? Well, I'd need to know exactly how it looks before I can make a new one. All the Faladian knights used to have swords with unique designs according to their position. Could you bring me a picture or something? I'll go and ask the squire to see if I can find one. Alright, back to Falador we go. So I was on my way back when I noticed this pretty random church. Kinda wonder what it's doing. Seems a little bit out of place. So I bet you there's some pretty interesting lore behind this church and graveyard. Something to keep in mind for later, I think. Also a really weird Easter Island looking statue. Kinda looks like a monkey to me, or like a gorilla, and it's pointing west this way. Surely it has some meaning, so probably something else that I have to keep in mind for later. You know, at this point I've been writing so many things down in my notebook of things to keep for later that I'm approaching a page, and I'm sure by the time I'm done all the free-to-play quests, it'll be a lot more than just one page. Here's yet another thing. Why are there wizards representing the 4 elements here? And who is this guy? Malignius Mortifer? And did he just create a zombie? Oh god, I have PTSD. Oh god, okay, it's not attacking me. I'm gonna go talk to him actually, because I'm just kind of curious. So, Toffpilled, your curiosity leads you to speak to me? Yeah, that's accurate. Who are you, and what are you doing here? I am the great Malignius Mortifer, wielder of strange and terrible powers. These lowly followers of mine are dedicated students of the magical arts. Their business is to follow me and learn all they can. They don't look very tough. You may believe that, but even if you strike one down, another will rise within minutes. Yeah, right. Each of my followers is a master of the chosen element. His life becomes... sorry, that is so distracting. His life becomes bound to that element in a way that you could not hope to understand. And what do? I am mastering a branch of magic that few dare to attempt. Necromancy. The fools in the Guild of Wizards shun anyone who practices this art, but there are few in this land who know the rudiments. Guild of Wizards. I think that's in Gielinor. And the head of that guild is some guy called Distantor. I remember from our dialogue with Sajador in Wizard's Basement. Greyzeg and Invrigar, even Melzar studied the methods of necromancy until an accident affected his mind. Okay, so we know who Greyzeg is. That's the guy from Imcatcher. I don't know who Invrigar is, and I don't know who Melzar is, but looks like he's gone crazy. I'm gonna write those two names down just in case we need them for later. Now his spells tend to result in, well, let us simply say that he does not raise armies of undead minions. What happened to Melzar? The forces required to wield power over the dead are very difficult to control. Melzar's concentration slipped, and his spell rebounded upon him. Although he did not die, his mind broke. Now he dwells amidst the beasts that fill his strange home, and when he attempts to do magic, he gets amusing results. Is this like summoning? Can you teach me? The obscure magical art of necromancy has nothing to do with summoning. Through necromancy, I may resurrect the bodies of those who have fallen, and bend them to my will, and even command them to tell me hidden knowledge. I shall not pass on my secrets lightly to any passerby, even a mighty hero like me. Perhaps one day you shall learn ways to summon creatures to your side, but my own work is of a different sort. Why do you have a mushroom fetish though? Necromancy is still not fully understood. So few people dare to study it. Although my spells usually raise whichever undead creature I desire, sometimes they just raise whatever my kinks are, as Melzar has learned. Okay, it doesn't look like there's anything else to really say to him, so I'm just gonna say, thanks, I'll be off now. I mean, I obviously don't think that was part of the quest, and it didn't look like a place to start a new quest, but that is pretty interesting. We now know of two new characters, Invrigar and Melzar, and there's a lot more about Melzar, about him going mad and stuff, and living with a bunch of creatures that he created, so I assume that that might be useful for a later quest, and if not, it's still some pretty cool lore, I think. So I was just staring at the map and I found this place called Melzar's Maze. I'm assuming that's where Melzar lives with all his crazy creatures. Definitely a place I want to visit later just to check out, you know, what's in there. So I think that I'll actually be the first thing that I do after this quest is done. So, how are you doing getting a sword? I found it in Camdo Dwarf, but he needs a picture of the sword before he can make it. A picture, eh? The only one I can think of is in a small portrait of Sir Viven's father. Sir Viven keeps it in a cupboard in his room, I think. Okay, I'll try to get that then. Please don't let him catch you. He mustn't know what happened. I wonder what happens if I just snitch on this dude. Does the quest instantly complete, but like with no rewards or something? I feel like that would kind of make sense. Oh, there's a little crypt area here. I think I'm actually gonna explore that first. Oh, dude, what? This looks super cool. There's another squire right here. Let's go talk to him. What do you want? Tell me about this place. This place? It's the Castle Crypt. The greatest Reddit mods are buried here after a lifetime in service of Saradomin. At least, that's how it used to be. When I was a new recruit, they brought me here and told me that if I served Saradomin faithfully and with distinction, maybe, just maybe, I'd earn the honor of having a flare next to my name whenever I posted. But if you think about it, that's never gonna happen. There just isn't space for my subreddit niche. Anyway, my plan is to avoid dying and maybe marry one of the barmaids when I retire. Damn, bro. That is... okay. That's kind of depressing. You know what? I'll leave you alone. I'll let you mope around here. There's a place called Death's Domain. It's kind of interesting. Kind of scared to enter this place because it sounds a little bit freaky, but whatever. Oh wait, I've been here before. This is like RuneScape's version of Hades or something. I'm gonna leave because this place involves a lot of bad memories. That's kind of interesting that there's a portal to the underworld just randomly in the White Knight's castle courtyard. Anyways, let's try to find Survivin. Dude, there's so many random NPCs I want to talk to, but if I do that, the video is gonna be like an hour long for 2 quests, so I'm gonna try to be selective about it, only if they look really interesting. I'm pretty sure that the painting is right here, so I'm gonna wait till he doesn't see me, and then I'm gonna open this door, close it real quick, and let's see. You find a small portrait in here which you take. Okay, pretty easy. I wonder if he can see into my inventory. You know what, let's just test it out. What happens if I stand like right next to him? Okay, he doesn't notice at all. So I guess NPCs can't really tell what you're carrying on you at the time. That's good to know. Sorry, I can't help myself. I'm gonna talk to this guy. It's all very bright around here, isn't it? Well, it is the White Knight's castle. I think it would all look better in a nice dark green. At least then I wouldn't be squinting my eyes all the time. Yes, but then they'd have to become the dark green knights. Doesn't really have the same ring to it, does it? Ah, humans have no sense of style. Dude, what's with gnomes in this game and having this weird sense of species superiority? We've talked to 2 of them now, and they're both really into the whole gnomes are the best thing. Alright, so I have a picture now. I guess the only thing left to do is go back to that Encamdo door and give the picture to him. I also totally forgot to bring a hardware store full of tools, which I really should be doing in every quest, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that as well. I noticed on my way back that there's like this little complex here with an entrance underneath. Now when you click on the world map and you click here, it looks like this is an alternate entrance to the mining guild. And that's something to keep in mind for later as well, because now I know a way to get to the mining guild without having to run past like poisonous scorpions. As I was walking here, I realized that if we ever need like a staff of earth or a staff of fire or a staff of, you know, whatever element, those wizards that we encountered earlier probably drop them. So I think at some point I'm going to farm those guys up a little bit just to see if I can get anything. And they're also pretty low level, so it shouldn't be too hard to do. About that sword, have you got a picture of the sword for me yet? I found a picture of the sword I would like you to make. You give the portrait to Thurgo. Thurgo studies the portrait. You'll need to get me some stuff to make this. I'll need 2 iron bars to make the sword to start with. I'll also need an ore called Blurite. Blurite is useless for making actual weapons except crossbows, but I'll need some as decoration for the hilt. It is a fairly rare ore. The only place I know how to get it is under this cliff here, but it is guarded by a very powerful ice giant. Most of the rocks in the cliff are pretty useless and don't contain much of anything, but there's definitely some Blurite down there. You'll need a little bit of mining experience to be able to find it. Okay, I guess that's why this quest has like a mining prerequisite. Okay, I'll go and find them then. So we also need 2 iron bars. We do have 1 already sitting in the bank, but yeah, I guess we'll have to make another one. So, seeing as how this is guarded by a super powerful ice giant, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if there's a way we can just like run around it or something, and if there's not, I think I'm going to come back with a bunch of chicken and try to beat it that way. Okay, I mean, that looks pretty intense, so I'm assuming we go here. The tunnel is very dark and dangerous. You'll need an agility level of 60 to try this. Okay, well, it's definitely not that, because agility wasn't in the quest requirements, and I'm also pretty sure it's a members only skill. A lot of pirates here too. Some hobgoblins as well. I mean, I see the Blurite rocks right there, so like I have no idea what Thurgo is talking about because I do not see some super powerful ice giant. I do see some ice warriors though, so maybe that was like Thurgo just repeating hearsay or something. Or maybe the ice giant comes out and tries to attack me when I mine it. I guess there's only one way to find out. Oh shit, there it is. Oh, it's level 53. Oh jeez, we better mine this fast. Wait, how many do we need? Was it 1 or 2? Oh dude, I don't remember. It's not good. Okay, let's just hope it's just 1, because if it's 2, then we're gonna have to come back here. I'm pretty glad we brought all these tools, because if we hadn't brought the pickaxe, we would have had to go all the way back to like Falador or something and grab it from the bank. Now that I think about it, I have to go back to Falador anyways because I gotta get an iron bar. Luckily in Falador, there is an actual smelter there, I'm pretty sure. And also I saw these rocks on the world map, and they were on the way to Falador, so it's actually not that bad. Like the backtracking is like pretty minimal for this quest. I think I get why they made run energy and walking so slow in this game. It's because the game world itself is actually fairly small, so by making the navigation of the world quite difficult, it does 2 things. First, it makes the world feel bigger than it really is. The second thing it does is it makes all of those transportation unlocks we saw earlier probably feel really rewarding, just because of the length of time required to get from point A to point B manually. So yeah, I think that's pretty good game design on Jagex's part. So this is a pretty cool little spot. It's very like modern feeling bar location, just sitting in the middle of Falador. And there's this dwarf wearing what I think is a snapback, clearly drunk. So I'm gonna talk to him and see if he has anything interesting to say. Buy us a drink. I think you've had enough, bro. Please, buy us a drink. Okay. I wonder what happens if we try to buy this guy a drink anyways. Let's talk to the bartender and find out. Hey, what can I get you? What ales are you serving? Well, we've got Asgardian Ale, Wizard's Mind Bomb, and Dwarven Stout. All for only 3 coins. Can I have the Dwarven Stout? I said 3 coins. You haven't got 3 coins. Oh yeah, true, I'm broke. Okay, maybe another time then, because I don't want to have to walk all the way back to the bank in here. But that's something I definitely want to try later, like buying this dwarf a Dwarven Stout and just seeing what happens. And there are a lot of things to keep track of in terms of like things that I want to do later for either lore reasons or just general curiosity reasons. I imagine just keeping all of that in your head would be pretty hard. I mean, not for me, of course, because I'm basically a genius, but you know, I'm just talking about for regular human beings. How are you doing finding those sword materials? I have them right here. You give the blurite ore and the iron bars to Thurgo. Thurgo makes you a sword. Thank you very much. Just remember to call in with some more pie sometime. Oh, I wonder what the sword stats are. Wait a second. Okay, they're pretty bad. But damn, it looks so freaking cool. Look at it, dude. I wish this had good stats. I guess it ultimately doesn't matter because I do have to actually give this back to the squire to complete the quest, I'm guessing. So yeah, unless there's like an alternate quest option where you can just steal the sword from him and watch him get fired from his job. That would be a fun alternative quest ending, I think. Speaking of which, are there alternative quest endings in this game? Or does everyone just kind of get the exact same ending no matter what quest they do and what choices they make? So I'm pretty sure that's the air altar that Cedrador was talking about. So if I ever want to make air runes, this is the spot. I have retrieved your sword for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I was seriously worried I would have to take responsibility for my actions. You give the sword to the squire. 12,725. What? Bro, oh my god. That's 32 smithing, bro. Dude, that's crazy. That seems super overpowered. Let's see what I can make now. I mean, it looks like I can pretty much make all of the iron items already, so that's kind of huge. Like, forget about buying a set of full iron. We can just smith a set of full iron now. Dude, that's fantastic. So I do think we have enough footage now to create an entire episode. Some quick thoughts. The quests themselves were a little bit dry, but some of the lore we ran into was pretty cool. Like, I have a ton of questions I want to explore next episode, like what's in Malzar's maze? How do we get through that magical door in the Dwarven mines? Where can I get a fairy ring? Or a Quetzal whistle? So either I'm going to spend the next episode exploring all of those things, or alternatively doing more quests. If I do decide to go the latter route, I think I want to try taking on Vampire Slayer, since it's the next Slayer quest I actually have the requirements for. Plus it just kind of sounds cool, like taking on a vampire, and I vaguely remember doing it, or at least parts of it as a kid. Anyways, with that being said, thanks for watching, and I will see y'all next time.